Welcome to UnIqUeLeE Spoken Podcast, empowering healthcare, where transparency sparks transformation. Are you ready to dive into conversations that will spark ideas and inspire action? This is a podcast that refuses to accept the status quo. We'll take an inside look at what's really happening behind the scenes in long-term care settings. We aim to expose critical issues through authentic stories and practical research, uniting nationwide to eliminate alarming outcomes that are existing in long-term care settings nationwide and create safer environments for everyone. All across social media, staff, residents, families, loved ones are showing you transparently the challenges and what is happening inside of these long-term care settings. UnIqUeLeE Spoken LLC is pulling back the curtains and calling for a nationwide collaborative action to spark solutions. The time for change is now. This is episode 1, medication management, real struggles, alarming outcomes, and data that speak facts. Part 1. I am Juanita, the founder of UnIqUeLeE Spoken LLC. I started this podcast to ignite change in healthcare, starting with long-term care settings. It is time to transform nursing homes and rehabilitation centers, assisted living and memory care communities to all become premier long-term care settings nationwide. It is time for all long-term care settings to receive a 5-star quality and customer service rating. It starts now, and it starts with me. It starts with you, and you. And the time is now. Our mission is to ignite respectful, professional conversations that drive systemic change, enhancing safety, improving experiences, and equipping teams to deliver empathetic, compassionate, caring, and patient-centered care, eliminating the alarming outcomes in long-term care settings. Are you ready to be a part of it? Medication errors occur at an estimated rate of 1 in 3 residents per year. And the true incidence is likely higher due to underreporting. Many nurses and medication aides hesitate to report errors because they fear being fired, losing their licenses, or facing lawsuits for negligence. This fear often extends to concerns for their coworkers and judgment from coworkers, creating a culture of silence that compromises resident safety. Medication management alarming key facts. There is a prevalence of 27% of nursing home residents experiencing medication errors each year. Federal regulations require an error rate be below 5%, but many facilities exceed this due to staffing shortages, lack of empathy, compassion, caring, and fear. There is a severity in these settings of 1 in 3 Medicare residents experiencing harm within the first month of admission. 37% of these adverse events involve medication errors. and nearly 60% are preventable. Let me repeat that. Nearly 60% are preventable. Medication error admission contributing factors. Polypharmacy. Taking 5 or more medications significantly increases risk related to transcription errors. Gaps in the admission process, especially when staff lack time, training, or empathy for thorough medication reviews, are major contributors. We will hone in on the importance of what if in a later episode. There are hospitalization medication changes that are made without the resident or family's agreement per their reporting, or medication lists are being submitted by providers that do not have full knowledge of medication orders that are prescribed by different specialists. This is increasing the risk of errors. And there are high-risk drugs, anticoagulants, also known as blood thinners, diabetic medications, and opioids account for the most severe injuries and deaths. And one may ask why polypharmacy matters. Well, residents with polypharmacy are at increased risk for drug-to-drug interactions, confusion over dosing schedules, transcription errors, omission or duplication of medications, adverse reactions, falls, and guess what? Hospitalizations. The staff role: compassionate, empathetic, caring, well-trained, and compliant staff are essential for accurate medication reconciliation and ongoing monitoring. Facilities with strong safety cultures and adherence to best practices see lower rates of preventable harm. And let's discuss assisted living and memory care similarities. They have similar vulnerabilities. All of the contributing factors that exist in nursing and rehabilitation centers for medication errors are prevalent in assisted living and memory care facilities. Medication aids. In states where medication aids manage medications, they are under limited supervision with limited training, with an increased risk of errors, with only one licensed nurse overseeing an entire community. Systemic factors. Higher resident to staff ratios exist, and they have in many locations the versatile worker concept, where they manage medications, housekeeping, laundry, and activities, etc. There's a lack of standardized training on complex medication regimens, which amplify error rates. I must give this disclaimer. There are medication aids that are empathetic, compassionate, and caring that does a remarkable job because they ask questions and they follow through. Now, you may ask why this matters. Medication errors, deaths, injuries, high legal payouts, hospitalizations, care staff turnover, and burnout are not just numbers. They represent systemic cracks with critical risk and outcomes for everyone. We're laying the foundation for transparency in long-term care settings, igniting a collaborative commitment to advocate for better standards nationwide. Medication management is a complex, high-stakes responsibility. When the system fails to support nurses and administrators, and most importantly, residents, the consequences are not just numbers, they're lives. Let's work together to drive transparency and advocate for realistic standards and transform care for everyone. If you're a nurse or administrator, what changes will help prevent these alarming outcomes, these medication errors? Share your stories and insights. Your feedback matters. And together, we can make a difference. Thank you for joining us. And remember, we broadcast every Tuesday, 5:30 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 3:30 p.m., and 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time to accommodate various time zones. And don't forget to tune in next week for episode 2, Medication Management, Real Struggles, Alarming Outcomes, and Data That Speak Facts, Part 2. Thank you for joining us on Uniquely Spoken LLC podcast. Please subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Remember to connect with us. Follow, comment, share, be a guest, subscribe. Visit us at uniquely-spoken-llc.com/podcast. That's UnIqUELEE.com/podcast. Or if you are a viewer, scan our QR code. Please remember to stay informed, stay empowered, and keep the conversation going. We love hearing from you, and we'll see you next week.